So this is a completely different type of podcast. The reason why it's completely different is because we sat down with a guy who owns his own agency in the e-commerce space. As of May 2024, his agency is doing $50,000 per month. His name is Angus Cowan, and he's actually part of our team. He's been part of our team since September 2023. And this podcast was actually filmed 6 months ago, back in November 2023. In the podcast, we discussed everything from the risks Angus took to quit his full-time job to start his own thing. We discussed business psychology and strategy and what's required to start up a small business. We also had a chat about mindset around money and investing, and even got into alcohol consumption and balancing mates around business. The funny thing about this podcast is that, looking back on it, Angus is sitting there not knowing that he's about to triple his business revenue in the next 6 months. You'll no doubt get something out of this podcast if you are interested in business or starting your own business. If you want to follow Angus or get in contact with him, you can find him on Instagram under the handle Angus Cowan. He's an absolute weapon, and he's going to do some serious damage in this space. I'll let you get into the podcast because you're going to learn a few things. Don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah, all right. Well, what do we got? I don't know what number podcast we're up to now, but we got JP here, myself here, and our special guest for today is Angus. Angus has recently joined our team as well, but he's obviously flying high in the what would be the umbrella term of the field you're working in? E-commerce?
Yeah, online business, I like to say.
Business.
Yeah, e-commerce, like coaching businesses, info products, stuff like that. All like email marketing sort of spec under that.
Yeah, nice. So we got Angus in today. He's from Brisbane.
Brisbane, the Sunshine State.
From Bris Vegas.
Yeah.
Just down for the week, right?
Yeah, just come down and show my face a bit, see the clients, meet some people.
Yeah.
Good to catch up.
Yeah, awesome. So we thought we'd get you on and have a chat. Obviously, you came in and met us on, I think it was Monday now.
Monday afternoon.
Then JP sort of threw the message out, get him on a potty, your first potty.
My debut potty. I was a bit nervous, but no, I'm excited.
I'm surprised you haven't done another one.
Well, it was funny. Before I came, I was actually thinking to myself, like, I'd like to do a potty. I think it'd be pretty interesting. Like, a fair few of you guys do potties in Melbourne. It's bit of a hub for it. So I know like Louis and Tom, who I work with, they both had potties in Melbourne. Obviously the old 9 to 5 fitness potty. Like everyone I know does a potty in Melbourne. So I was keen to try get my way onto one.
Yeah.
Not really popular in Brisbane?
Well, no one that I know at least. Like I feel like the whole world of online business is sort of just popping a lot more in Melbourne. Like a lot of people doing their own thing, trying different things. Where in Brisbane, I find at least the people I know and the people I've like managed to network with it's just not sort of exploring this side of things. That's why I like coming to Melbourne and sort of immersing myself a bit.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. Cool. So you mentioned you're working with Louis and Tom.
Yeah, the boys.
Yeah, which is obviously sort of was that sort of. So let's go through a little bit of your background. Give people a bit of an idea of sort of how you came across us and how we linked up, but obviously a lot before that. I'm actually very interested as well. So I know obviously we can sort of talk about your business side of things, but how did you even get into the world of this online business? You mentioned on Monday that you went to uni?
Yeah. So I went to uni and I did accounting and finance, a commerce degree.
Yep.
And then during uni, I took it like COVID sort of came around, and there was some family friends of mine whose like warehousing business sort of took a bit of a dive through COVID. And so they were like, well, we need to go online. And then they knew, like I'd kind of started trying to do e-commerce stuff. Like I was selling t-shirts and shit online, just random stuff. And then they were like, well, do you want to come in and manage our social media? And I was like, yeah, done. Came in and they ended up teaching me email marketing because their e-commerce site started to go off a bit. And then I was kind of like, well, I got a little bit of a knack for it. They're teaching me, I'm getting better. Maybe just earn a bit of cash on the side hustle, start freelancing. And that's when I started working with 9 to 5 Fitness. Shot off a DM. They were really nice. Took me on board. And then the rest is sort of history. I kind of just like started working a few other jobs on the side. Didn't really love it. And then over time, my business started to grow. And then earlier this year, I shut up shop with the job I was doing. And it was like, well, I'm going to really take this on. It was about January, February. And then, since then I've just been growing pretty rapidly.
Was there an overlap of like income comfort versus like a risk? Like were you making enough from your business before you quit your job?
Yeah, well,
or was it just
I was making just enough. Like between my job and my business, I was making like really good money and I was very comfortable.
Yeah.
And then I kind of decided like the job sort of came to a bit of a natural dead end. Like there was the opportunity for me sort of wasn't there anymore to grow the way I wanted to. So I was like, I'm going to have to part ways with the job, which was my primary income source still, and then move to my business. but I was confident. Like I knew with the connections I had in the industry and sort of with the results and testimonials I had that I'd be able to like get my business going pretty quickly and start making some better money. But yeah, there was definitely some risk involved, and there was a few, like, a couple tough months, but nothing that like you sort of have to go through to if you're going to do it.
Was there doubt?
Yeah, definitely. There was probably, I have like a couple mates that I like trust to talk shop with, and there was probably it was probably only 2 weeks, but it was a good 2 weeks where I was like, fuck, like, on and off, like, is this it? Like, is it all sort of coming to an end? Like, I really need to put my head down here and work something out, or, in 2-3 months time, like I'm not going to be able to afford to live sort of thing. So, I didn't have tons of cash saved. Like I'm not that great with my money. So I was like, doing tons of traveling and stuff. And then when I sort of landed in Brizzy, I was like, fuck, I need to make this work like now. But, it's what it's about. So I love it.
You grew up in Brisbane?
Yeah, born and bred.
Yeah, nice. So since you've done that, have you been growing pretty consistently? Like what's the goal with this whole thing? Like what are you...
What's the goal with this whole thing? I think at this stage, just growth. Like I think the overall goal is like have a ton of fun, meet a ton of good people, work for myself, make good money along the way. But in terms of like the agency space, like there's a lot of different people trying it. So it's like try grow as much as I can without sort of like sacrificing like, healthy profits and a good work-life balance. Like sort of gets to a point, as you guys would know, if like you try to grow too quickly, you got to hire like so many different people, and then your profit margins is the same at like a high level than it would be at a low level. So it's like, what's the sort of point? But yeah, keep growing, I think, and then sort of see where things take me in the next 3 years.
Do you have other people working for you yet?
No. I've done like, I've outsourced to like freelancers and stuff, and done contractual work with people, but nothing permanent.
Yeah. Is that the plan?
Yeah, I think.
But as you said, like when the time is right, so that you're not sort of.
I'm a bit of a solo operator. Like I'm very meticulous with how I like to operate, and I think client results are like everything. So if my results, my clients started like, being sacrificed, my whole business could go up in the air. So I'm not at a stage where like, I work very, very long hours. So it'd probably make sense to try to find someone in some capacity, but I'm just not at the stage where like, I probably feel comfortable managing someone without like there being a weird period of me trying to train them and results taking a dive in that time.
Yeah,
so
it's a hard one.
Yeah, it is a bit of a tough one, but probably by the end of this year, I'll have to bring 1 or 2 people on board.
Yeah. Where do you have like someone in the, doing, I know obviously you were talking about catching up with sort of a mutual acquaintance, I suppose, of ours the other day. In these sort of instances as like a business coach, do you have someone that you go to for sort of business information, business resources? Like in this instance, like how would you even go about finding someone to train someone? Where do you source them from?
Yeah.
Like, do you have like a business coach or mentor in that sense to help you along the way?
It's weird. I've sort of had like a few, I don't really have like a much older mentor who I go to for like all my business advice, which I think people sort of think like mentorship is in the traditional sense. But, like I talk to my dad a lot about business stuff. Like he has no experience with the online business world. He's just a tradie, but, has run his own business. Usually he's like very relatable insights. But my last job, the last job I was working before I quit was a digital marketing agency. And the CEO of that, like he was a jet. Like he's been in the space for so long. So, he's hired, fired, built systems, trained people. And I just learned a lot from being in that environment and like being around him. So that definitely helped. But a lot of the things I find these days is you can just learn online. Like, you watch the right YouTube videos, you follow the right people on Twitter, you talk to the right people, you start the right conversations, and you sort of just pick things up as you go. And that's how I've learned everything so far.
Yeah. That's, I mean, I personally think that beats going to uni. However, obviously you need uni for some things, but I think in this space, especially like marketing and stuff, like none of us have studied like marketing. Or you haven't, have you?
No, I did no marketing
like Tom,
study.
Steve, myself.
I did, I think,
like,
one module at uni.
Yeah.
But it was like you played a game basically.
Yeah.
It's like build laptops and sell laptops around the world. Like one of those like Sims version games. Yeah.
We did similar stuff in accounting.
Yeah.
Like,
it was,
You just got to do it, learn it, make errors, fuck up, do it again, learn from something else, and just that's the way you go with all this stuff. So
yeah, definitely. I think uni for me was like, I would never say I regret going. Like it taught me so, like having an accounting background has just shortcut my way to understanding business so much easier. Like obviously just doing my own bookkeeping and my own financials and understanding like taking on smart debt and stuff like that. Like it's helped me a ton. Like I won't lie, but you know, in terms of my direct line of work now, like no correlation.
Yeah. It's all like if you didn't do it, you might not be there where you are now. So it's like
exactly.
You can't be like, I shouldn't have gone to uni.
It's a good reflection. It's a good reflection to be able to like identify and be like, no, I did study this. It's not necessarily exactly what I'm doing, but it has helped. And it's like people probably forget that. We find that when people buy our products, they get to like sort of month 3, month 6, month 12, and they're like, I already know this is a waste of money. It's like, but you wouldn't be here.
You made 20K. You've like learned everything from nothing, and now you're saying it's like not worth it. It's like, what are you saying?
Yeah,
but, like that's very rare. You get like people come through and but like I studied osteo for 5 years, did it for 2, and now I'm in a bloody betting education company. It's just like cool. It's useless now, but the amount of shit I learned about like I don't know the human body, psychology, like maybe it is useful. So it's
and I always say to people who like say that, like I try to say to myself, like I never want to regret things, like, and it sort of allows me to look at things a bit deeper. It's like if I think I regretted that, like why do I think that? And what did I actually learn? But I'll say to someone like, if you didn't do uni, you might have gone and done something completely different, and maybe you out living in another city now and you're nowhere near where you are now. Like you have no 100%. Idea, like sort of everything happens for a reason. If you didn't do that uni, you might not be doing what you are.
100%. My uni experience was 7 years of hating it, basically. Like I enjoyed the uni lifestyle, enjoyed uni, I guess the growing up phase of going to uni. You know, you're out in the free world, you're out of school, you're out of mum and dad's control. It's on you. You've got to learn. You've got to complete your assignments. You've got to finish your exams. You're the one that's got to get it done. No one's pushing you anymore. You haven't got a teacher like smacking you on the back or giving you detention and shit. So it's like you grow up. Like I think uni's really good for growing up in that 100%. Sense. But yeah, in terms of did I need it to turn up here? Like who knows?
Nah, I think the life skills for sure. Like as you guys would know, running your own business, it's like no one's going to hold your hand. And uni was like, it's such a massive jump from high school. You go from like having teachers hold your hand and stuff, and uni teaches you like, well, if you're not going to fucking sit down and do it, no one is. So, and I think that's the most important lesson when you're running a business. Yeah,
you got to have that self-motivation. You
100%,
really do,
100%.
What are your thoughts on, so obviously, I mean, you obviously sell a service. Would you call it, it's a service, a product?
Service. Business to business service.
Business to business service. So I assume I know your answer to this, but we had Matteo on. We haven't released this podcast yet, but he's also sort of moving into a similar field of as yourself in the online business, e-commerce sort of direction. And he's really switched on, and he obviously was a platinum member as well. And he came on and basically just said, I love buying courses. Like, did you... Yeah. And the reason for him is like he wasn't necessarily afraid of being ripped off or scammed or not getting the value of $249.99, but it's now gotten him to the point where he is now.
He spent
20K on courses, and he's still like he's very much in the growing.
Still
not as established as sort of where you're at. Although I have no doubt he'll get there. But what are your thoughts on that in terms of like, did you buy courses to get sort of your skill set?
No. Well, I think I took a more traditional route of like initially I had that casual digital marketing job where they taught me everything I needed to get started. And I rate courses in the e-commerce space. Like you said, there is a lot of bad ones. There is a lot of great ones. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of, like, I'd say majority of the people selling them, they're more like motivating you to do what you already know you need to do. Like it might be like, say I'm buying an email marketing course. I could probably find out how to do it on YouTube, but I wouldn't do that unless I bought the course and someone said, this is what you need to fucking do. And this is how you do it. And then just having the feedback loop, like a mate of mine, Leo, who I was talking to you about, like he has this really good thing that he's taught me, like shortening your feedback loops when you get started. So instead of spending like 4 months trying to work something out or start a business to realize like, oh, you've fucking bottled it. You work it all out in like a week because you have the access to the right information.
It's just leveraging experience, convenience, it all in one place. Like you're literally saving time and effort to get the better result.
No, I never bought a course when I started, but recently I've invested about like 15K into, it's like a mix between like a course and someone directly like one-on-one teaching me stuff to do with like my sales systems and appointment setting and stuff.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, I think I'm still in the middle of that. It's been a good experience so far. Like I think if anyone has the capital and they want to learn, like pick someone you trust, do some digging into them, make sure they're legitimate, and rip it. You're not going to miss $1,000 at the end of the day.
Yeah. That's
exactly
right.
It's so nice to hear that. It's just unfortunate that most people don't think like that. I would say most people are like attached to the $1,000, and then they'll end up either losing it or not growing for 2 years to save $1,000 instead of forcing themselves to adapt, like you said.
Well, as I said earlier, like I'm not the best money saver. Like if I need to save money, I will save money. But I'm really big on like you got to spend money to make money. But that's not just limited to like, oh, I need to invest in my business. It's like if you're spending your money on anything like upgrading your lifestyle, courses, education, like you kind of just open more doors naturally. And like if you got 10 grand sitting there, like it's the difference between having $100 and 10 grand in your bank account in the grand scheme of things.
It literally means nothing.
Fuck all. Like when you're 60 or 70 and you're like looking back, like, are you going to be like, fuck, I wish I had 9 extra grand in my bank account. Like, no, you're not going to give a single shit. So I'm very big on like taking risks, especially when you're young. Like
100%. Well, yeah, when you're young is the time to take those risks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we were saying that in the Gator podcast.
Yeah.
It's just like he's a risk taker. We would be risk takers.
Yeah.
Like we're not in a 9 to 5. That's a safer way. Not that it's wrong, but it is a safer way to go about things. Yeah. Like essentially you're a risk taker. You're running your own business. You're in control of your own destiny essentially. If you fail, you make no money. So yeah, I think the most successful people in the world are risk takers, I would say.
Of course. And there's a spectrum to it.
Of course.
It's like you've got there's being a risk taker, and what is the MR for the match review panel for the AFL call? It's like
reckless.
It's like reckless. It's like accidental, intentional, and then reckless. And it's like that scale does exist as well. And obviously you need to be on top of those things. But
analyze the EV.
Well, that was one thing uni taught me massively was like your risk analysis. Like I'm a very risk tolerant person. Like I will err on the side of risk always. Like if there's an upside, like I'm pretty happy to take a risk, but you know, there's always going to be dumb things you can do. So it's about being able to weigh up the situation, and it's like tying it to your end goal. It's like, you know, if you're taking a risk but the upside is so big, like, or you want your upside to be so big, you're not going to be able to do that without doubling in a bit of risk.
Yeah, 100%. So I reckon like you can even see it in I think it's just outside of the business world as well. Just the way you sort of like live your life and like your hobbies, and to some degree, like you can eat, like people be like, oh, you're taking a risk playing footy at the age of 30. You could do a knee or something.
Telling me like, stop playing footy, head injuries. I'm just like, well, probably, but like I like playing it, so I keep playing. What's
the risk of that, and what's the positive like effects of that? And it's like, well, like you just, as long as you're not reckless in your thought process and your decision making behind it, it's like. Yeah, like you just, I've backed my judgment to get me to this point in life. I'm going to continue to back the judgment that I make with making risks. I don't know. Yeah. It's like you build that trust within yourself, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I have a bit of like a thought process whenever I'm like second guessing something. And this probably is like a reckless thought process. But I'm like, I could legit wake up tomorrow across the street and get like hit by a bus. Yeah. Like, am I going to not play footy on the weekend? Yeah. Like, you know, I bail out of footy on Saturday, and then Monday morning I get hit by a bus. Like,
no, but it's spot on. Yeah. People like
there's a bit in that. Yeah.
People, the same thing. I've known like mates who've not travelled because they're like scared to go on a plane. It's like, brother, like one plane crashes in like, I don't know, 100,000 or something.
Yeah,
like, maybe more. And it's just like you've got literally no chance of dying in a plane crash.
So if you're worried about a plane, don't get on the road.
Don't drive. Don't walk outside. Like,
don't get out of bed. Just stay in bed.
Yeah.
No, if you live like that, you're always going to be like struggling with, like, always thinking about that. It's the paranoia inside your head as well. Mate, like it'll eat at you.
Yeah.
But yeah, 100%. I like that. Along the way, like you've dealt with a lot of clients who've now still with you, or have you sort of, this, you don't have to say this if you don't want to, but like, have you gone through and then people have fucked off, or like, has it been a pretty, how have you dealt with that?
Most clients I work, like 95% of clients I work with, or I've ever worked with, I still work with. Yeah. Like I've parted ways with one person mutually, which is fine. They wanted me to like come in as a employee, which I wasn't looking to do. Yeah. One person left me once, and I think it was like probably a mistake on both of our parts. We weren't a good fit, and they sort of part ways. And then I obviously had the one more like public situation, which you guys know about, which yeah, that was a bit of an unfortunate business situation, but that shit happens. Like, yeah, I think retention in the world is like such a big buzzword. It's like, how do you retain clients? How do you retain clients? But I think if you're like a good person, you're a good bloke, you tell the truth, you're honest, and you do what you say you were going to do, like most of the time you should be able to keep all your clients.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Nice.
I'm sure you guys know it too. Like, you tell someone you're going to teach them like match betting and you're going to help them make some money like through that. It's like, if you do that and you're nice to them, they're not going to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is correct. I think it all comes back down to, like you said, transparency, honesty. Like, even when I was doing osteo, like, there's a lot of medical practice out there that just like, first session, book in, do the initial consult.
Yeah.
All right, Angus, you got to book in 10 more times for the next 3 months.
Yeah.
Come in on this day, It's like, bro, you're like telling me to pay your rent essentially. How do you know I need 10 more sessions?
Yeah.
Whereas I was always like, because I had made my money from match betting, I wasn't concerned about money from osteo. I'd be like, all right, done first session, see how you feel. If you want to come back in 2 weeks, book in.
Yeah.
And then the patient appreciates that, or the client appreciates that, rather than knowing their revenue payer for their rent or whatever.
I think you end up making more money with that
100%,
mindset.
100%.
Like, all my experience in business has been like, maybe short term you make less money by like, I've had people hop on sales calls with me, for example, and they just want to throw money at you. They're like, I'm ready. Like, I've seen what you're able to do for other businesses. And can you do it for me? And I'd sit there and go like, probably not. Like, we're not a good fit. I could tell you yes. I could probably, take a few grand, try my best, but like, I'm probably going to fall short, and I don't want to put myself in that spot, like sort of sacrifice my own reputation.
100%.
So honesty is always going to like trump anything over the long term.
Yeah. Well, that's like short-term, long-term approach. Yeah, cool. You could take the money, but then you're going to burn a bridge. And
Exactly.
then they're going to potentially like, you're not going to have a testimonial. You're going to have a bad rep. And then in the long run, you're bad. So
yeah, 100%. I think like, and you're always so surprised with how many people come back to give you favors when you don't expect it. Like, I've had so many of my biggest opportunities come from just things I would have never expected. Like, maybe me taking a hit in the short term and giving someone a cheaper rate, or, not like delaying a payment because they couldn't afford to meet at X date or something. I don't know, just anything like short-term sacrifice for myself. And then people come back like 3-4 months later and they're like, oh, I've got an opportunity for you. And you're like, oh, fuck, like, didn't expect that, but maybe that was a result of like the favor I did them.
Yeah. I mean,
People,
karma train works both ways.
The karma train. I heard you guys talking about that on the other potty. I like that.
Now, one thing I've noticed, particularly in business, but then more so like just in the workforce in general, I find people actually do enjoy doing favors for people as well. Like, I found, particularly once I finished uni, trying to get a job sort of thing, reaching out to people, I was so hesitant to reach out to people to like ask for a favor or like a letter or a recommendation or something. But it's like, if that's obviously if you get good people around you, people actually want to support you and help build your building blocks up to get you to the position where, and then it's like, and then it does turn around, the karma train does do you a favor, and then it's like, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. Not that you go in with that intention, but that is what ends up happening, sort of thing. And it's just such a, it's nice. It's good. It gives you a bit of faith in humans sometimes. There's a lot of cockheads out there.
Yeah, you got to be careful with the transactional approach, like treating everything like a transaction.
Correct,
I know one individual who we probably know who literally speaks about everything like a transaction. Like, you have to like get something back to do a favor. And sometimes you got to actually just forget about that mindset. Just do it. Because it makes you feel good, and then who knows, come back later. It doesn't matter if it doesn't come back later, but at least you did something good for someone.
And then like, worst case, if you had to look at it as well, you feel good about yourself. And it's like, that can almost, if you're trying to trick yourself, it's like, well, that's the transaction that I get out of it. It's like, you do a good deed.
100%.
And it's like, in a weird way, it's somewhat selfish, but it's like, it's not, because it's it's not at all. But
it's like a net positive.
I
think the way I look at it is like, especially what you were saying about asking people for help or, a letter of recommendation. It's like, the old saying, it's like, no one above you is going to like hate on you, but it's like, you'd also be surprised how many people above you are willing to help you if you ask. It's always the people who are doing better than you who will give you the time of day if you're a good person.
That's very spot on.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
There's not a lot of successful people who are happy that hate. So there's a lot of successful people that are unhappy that hate.
Yeah.
But their hate comes from some kind of dissatisfaction most of the time from something. It's like, often we get people in the comments saying like, oh, like I'm a CEO of this company and I'm earning 300K a year, I could like your plebs or something. And it's like, why are you writing that then?
Yeah.
Like you're obviously unhappy about something.
This is the CEO like sitting on TikTok, like commenting.
Like, I mean,
he's got a 16-hour day, but he
Yeah.
still finds an hour to hate on TikTok.
Yeah, like we're successful. We go on TikTok too, but we're using it as a marketing
Yeah,
platform
it's
and a growth platform.
Yeah.
And leveraging sometimes these haters and
Mate.
like whatever. But like that's the thing. It's like you're right. It's someone above you rarely will hate.
They never will. And it's like, it's such a G up. And I get the comments too, obviously, you guys have seen. It's like, whenever someone is like hating, it's like, oh, what are you like, you fucking running a business. Like, why are you on TikTok then? It's like me posting these videos on TikTok and Instagram, like genuinely helped me.
That's the funniest bit. They're like, oh, if you knew about like business, you wouldn't be on TikTok. It's like, brother, TikTok is the best platform for the most views, for the most leads of any platform out there.
It's an ironic comment,
like, we're
isn't
in 2023. We're not in fucking 20.
It's social media. Like,
Literally.
it is how people communicate. How do you get a message to someone? You get on social media.
I can post a video and 1 million people could see it right now.
Yeah.
Like you can't do that on any other thing.
Yeah. And like, it's like, what are they doing? Are they still like going door knocking, like trying to like ask for jobs or something?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Not sure.
A couple of messages in a bottle out there. Or something.
I've always found it interesting. Like, obviously, I work with some like higher profile people, like say Tom Bolt's Prime Train.
Yeah.
He cops more shit than anyone
he loves
I
it,
have ever seen. He loves it. He deals with it great. But like, especially when you meet him, you see how like unfazed he is. But it's like all these people commenting like, oh, fucking get off TikTok. It's like you genuinely probably wish you were in his situation.
100% they do.
Like, if you just post, but the difference, they also think like they put these people on a pedestal where they're like, oh, they look at them like some sort of crazy like influencer or whatever. And it's like, they're just you who decided to fucking post videos.
Everyone has the same opportunity.
They're just leveraging their skills.
Yeah.
It's like, good on them.
Yeah. Oh, it's an interesting world.
What are some of your do you have like the same people hating on your videos, or do you just have like all random?
I probably don't have enough like followers at this point where I have like a good cult hating.
Yeah. Okay.
But it depends on the video. Like my TikTok account's not that big yet, and my Instagram account gets no hate. But on TikTok it'll be like,
Instagram's better.
Like probably 1 in 20 ratio, maybe 1 in 50.
I think I've had one hate comment on Instagram.
Yeah. TikTok goes to the masses.
Yeah.
So it's like anyone can see your video. Is generally like your Instagram page or your fans sort of thing. So.
What are your main, like, what do people say? Like, what's the hate?
Well, they always say like, fucking, what are you trying to sell me?
Yeah.
I remember making a video. I was like, if I was selling you something, it would be good. Like, not trying to like pump my tires, but I'm not going to sell anything that shit. So who cares? But secondly, I'm not trying to fucking sell you anything right now anyway. Like, what is with this comment? Like, everyone's just like accusing me of like trying to sell
again,
something.
I like to go deep there again. It's like that person's not happy with their financial situation.
100%.
Because they wish they could sell something, but they don't. They go to work 9 to 5 and they get an hourly rate, and that's not wrong.
Yeah.
But then they get triggered by someone who can get out of that, I think, and make the money that way.
But it is wrong if you're so angry about it.
Yeah.
I have no issues with someone working a 9 to 5. No. But if you're working a 9 to 5 and you're at the point where you're like so fucking annoyed that someone isn't, it's like, well, what's going on with you?
Literally.
Yeah. No, well, I made a video the other day about talking like, just like cost of living stuff, how like, the old like, make 10K a month is like such a buzzword. I was like, honestly, these days, especially if you have people relying on you, like you maybe have a kid or someone, this is not enough money. And the amount of people in my comments who are like, well, fucking show us your financials then.
Literally.
I was like, mate, what's the goal?
There's nothing personal here. You're just literally saying.
It's so fucking funny seeing.
That's what the economy is doing at the moment. Like, it is fucked.
You have to make more. You're literally telling them, and they don't like it.
Yeah, I know. It's such a GR. I think people just like, to be fair, I think a lot of people are skeptical because there has been tons of like, there's tons of wafflers out there, tons of gurus, like self-proclaimed people trying to sell a fucking like drop shipping scam or sell like Forex trading or something. Like,
that's my favorite one.
Yeah, that's the best one.
Do not buy anything to do with Forex.
I considered getting into that, like trying it at one point, and then I like opened a few curtains and I was like, this is fucked.
I tried it.
I know people who make good money from it, well, like mutually, but I just like, there's so much shit.
Do you know people?
Like distance mutually. Like I know like from legitimate sources, like there are people.
How long have they been doing it for?
Like 6 months, a year. It could maybe long term it flips. Like I said,
6 months a year I
know fucking nothing about
honestly,
it. Honestly,
Forex trading would be harder than making money off the bookies. Like it's
of course,
way harder. Sorry,
making money off the bookies is the easiest thing ever.
Without promos.
Right.
So, it's fucked. It's just designed to fuck dumb people.
Well,
and without, they're just rinses.
Especially when it's like currencies that are like fucking controlled by
literally
economic policy
and the big banks.
It's like they want to jack one currency up. It only takes a news article.
Yeah, literally.
But, it's a funny world out there.
Yeah, mate.
Sorry to interrupt. Just to let you know, all of this content's actually over on any of the podcasting platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. If you want to find the links, they're in the description. Maybe you can save some data. In the meantime, I'll let you get back to it.
What do you find the biggest? Actually, two separate questions. Biggest challenge of running your own business, and then on the flip to it, the biggest not reward, but the best benefit, I suppose.
Biggest challenge would definitely be like shiny object syndrome. Like being in the agency game, there's tons of different things. It's like I don't know if you guys watch much Alex Hormozy, but he calls it like the lady in the red dress. Right. It's like where you're on, say you're trying to show your tunnel vision. It's like, this is what I'm doing. You guys are match betting. I'm doing email marketing, and then an opportunity comes walking by, and you look at it and you're like, fuck, like would I be doing better if I tried that? Like, I don't know. It's kind of just with so much information on social media, there is a lot of different things you can do. Yeah. So it's like trying not to get distracted by like random opportunities that get thrown in your face, and trying to just stay on track with like, no, this is what I'm doing.
Okay, so the challenge is actually staying on track and not sort of getting caught up in the what if, potentially, or the feeling of missing out sort of thing.
It's like, there's a lot going on with AI, right? And there's a lot of people like starting to make good money with different sort of like maybe AI agencies helping business implement AI. And it's like, it's easy. Like, I think it's easier to scale an agency when you have a new offer. Like if you're the first to market, like email marketing's been around for fuck knows how long, forever. And there's tons, I know tons of agencies in Australia who do it. And it's like, well, I would probably be able to scale a whole lot easier if I jump ship to some new offer or something. But I know at the end of the day, it's just like your brain likes to play tricks on you.
Yeah, the grass is always green.
Grass is always green, 100%. Yeah. And I feel like I've got a little bit of like ADHD when it comes to that. So it's like very easily
distracted. That's a common trait in
I think everyone's fucking got it now.
Mate,
it might be that.
But like, it's not like I would say I have it too.
Yeah.
But like, it's not a
thing.
What is it, like a label for a behavior? Like, I think it's a bit overused by some people as well.
Yeah.
Like, I've got this, so that means I can't do this.
Well, I remember growing up as a kid, it was like the crazy kid in the classroom was throwing chairs. Oh, he had ADD. Like, that's what it was. And so it's like, don't be that guy, because he's getting fucking pulled out by the ear and shit.
And they just fucking load them up with pills at lunchtime.
Literally.
So they fucking relax.
Yeah, which is not the solution.
It's fucked up.
No, it's fucked when you think about it. So like some 8-year-old kid going to like the sick bay to get like launched with pills. So,
sedatives.
It's like some fucking tranquilizer or some shit. Back to what you're saying, biggest reward I think is honestly like your reward, like my financial reward, I guess, is like directly correlated to the amount of effort.
Yeah.
It's like you go like, I remember, I don't want to be slandering like office jobs and stuff. Like,
no.
Like who knows? Maybe one day I can go and do one. But like when I used to work a job, like I'd bust my ass to like impress my boss or something. And then your reward's like a pat on the back. And it's like, if I'm going to bust my ass, I want to be like, making more money from it myself or benefiting from it myself.
Yeah.
But then there's also like the celebrating with people you enjoy. Like if you're working with good clients and you're working with good people, being able to like do something for them and they get a great result out of it and they come and like praise you. Like obviously it's a bit of like a ego thing, but it genuinely feels good knowing that people like appreciate your work.
Well, you're in a similar thing to us. Like our services and products, they make people money or make them grow or whatever. Same with you. Your product has to, otherwise you lose your client. So like you're not selling something that costs someone money. Like you place a bet with a bookmaker, they take your money, you lose, they win. It's not like that. It's a win-win sort of business, which is good.
And it's like for you guys, I'm sure like you have a crazy 2 weeks where you're like, we are so fucking busy. Like we're so stressed. But then the following 2 weeks after that, maybe you bring on more members than ever, and you're like, well, that's a reward for our hard work. Or you have a member come to you and it's like 6 months ago, I was in this situation, I was really struggling, I was losing all this money in the bookies, and now I've made like my first few K profit. It's like that to you guys would just feel like so good to hear.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
What's your biggest mistake so far?
Biggest mistake?
Or mistake or regret?
Biggest mistake is probably a bit of shiny object syndrome. I remember like
did you mention this before? The shiny object, is that what you mean, the lady in the red dress? Okay.
So it's like you know, like the lady in the red dress that Hormozy likes to say is
Yeah.
legit like a good looking lady in a red dress walks past and you like turn
It's
your
like
head.
the meme.
Yeah.
It's like that meme. The
yeah,
guy's
it's like that meme. And it's like
I gotcha.
you're getting distracted by something. And I was starting to get some momentum with my business and I was getting really good results for the clients I had. And I had all these testimonials and I was like trying to, you know, I was like, I could easily leverage these and get a few more clients on and this probably makes most sense for me. But then another opportunity came up and I ended up spending a month like trying to start a completely new business from scratch. And it honestly set me back like so much more time than a month because I kind of neglected what I was working on. I missed a lot of new opportunities that would have been really good. And I just wasted a month of time like fucking trying to start this new bullshit, which in hindsight was me just completely getting distracted.
But like, I've got a question to somewhat like play a devil's advocate to that being a mistake. Like, had that new business boomed, would you then consider it a mistake? You know what I mean?
No,
like that's where it's a bit
But
of a
also
tricky
now
one.
it's,
Like,
yeah, same with Steve. Like it's a mistake maybe, but now you've kind of
Learned
maybe
from
learned
it.
to stay on
Yeah.
track. Like I don't know.
Like I said before, I always tell myself I don't regret anything.
Yeah.
It's like I make tons of mistakes that I maybe wish I hadn't have made, but it's like if I didn't make that mistake, I wouldn't have learned what I did.
Yeah.
So like I think that's been the biggest thing for all my progress has been like reframing myself to be like every mistake, every fuck up, every dumb thing I've done is like, well, I'm glad that it happened early and I've learned from that and I can now adapt that going forward. So yeah, maybe if the business blew up, would have been happy, but in hindsight, it was like the opportunity just like I was kind of trying to force an opportunity.
yeah, fair enough. It just wasn't. Yeah, so it's like you've that's sort of the mistake. It's not necessarily that you had a crack at something that it's like
I'm all for having
probably
a
wasn't
crack.
there. Yeah,
It was
yeah.
more like I probably should have been smarter in like my analysis of how good that opportunity was.
Yeah.
And I let myself like sort of get a bit carried along.
Yeah. Oh, we've definitely made a mistake. Similar thing. Just get caught up in the moment. Like, oh, this is going to be huge. This is going to be huge.
Yeah.
And then, we end up getting scammed, and that's just part of the part. But it's like very similar learning from our point of view. The learning was, all right, let's do more sort of research into whether or not we take someone on or whether or not we try this new thing rather than like at least do like some research rather than waste time, waste money, waste resources before launching in.
I think it's a fine line of like trying to be emotional to the point where you're like invested, but emotionless enough where like you don't get as carried into things. It's like one thing I've learned is like nothing is ever as bad or nothing is ever as good as it seems.
That's
like if I think something is like in the past, like I've just seen opportunities and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to become a millionaire. And it's like, no, okay, that wasn't that great.
Yeah.
Or you freak out. I'm like, everything's going to shit.
Yeah.
I'm about to be unemployed, homeless, whatever. And then it's all right, it wasn't that bad. So it's about trying to like baseline your emotion a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to say? That's a...
I watched a quote like Nick Dacos used that one as his favorite quote.
Yeah,
like
it's a good one.
nothing's
Yeah,
ever as
big
bad
in
as
the
it
footy
seems
field,
or as good as it seems. 100%.
Yeah.
Stay level.
What was your tangent going to be?
What were we talking about?
I was going to ask him if he's ever bet before.
Oh, mate, I've bet before.
You have?
Yeah, I would hate to pull up my Ned statement, honestly.
Really? So you actually have bet?
No, not like I bet. Like I have made to gamble.
Yeah, what's your like associations with the degenerate culture of Australia?
Oh, it's like, mate, I have, and they will be watching this podcast. I have some close mates who are fucking degenerate.
Yeah.
Like, I think I told you guys
Yeah,
when
you
I
did,
first started
yeah.
working for you, like, I've had mates
yeah,
lose,
that's
like,
right. Yeah.
you know,
Garage in the
The
garage?
work
in
place
the
and-
fucking Woolly staff room.
Oh, in
like,
the Woolly staff room.
like,
Yeah.
ending up in like really bad spots, like mentally and stuff too.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard times for them, but
It's not good. Yeah.
just like gambling culture generally. Like a lot of my mates like love having a punt and it's their entertainment and it's like whatever, but they are losing, like a lot of them are losing money. And I definitely someone like me who doesn't care about it that much, but if I hung out with them, you know, throw $100 on, it's like, fuck, there's $100 gone. Like that happened to me way more often than I would win money betting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. When you're signing up.
Yeah. I'm in the Discord.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just get your Saturdays free. That's all you need.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if my Saturday's free at this point, but
Yeah, right.
no, I'm definitely an advocate of you guys. Like my friend, well, I had mates who like,
Yeah.
but I think like a lot of issues with some of my mates and even me personally is the lack of patience. Like you guys talk about patience so much. It's like I struggle with gambling just because I am impatient and I am emotional. So like if I would ever gamble and like say I go to the casino, I'd be up like $500 or something. Like that's
Back to
not
zero.
enough. Like it's like I'm going home like a millionaire or with nothing. So I end up just pissing it all away.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, patience is probably the number one thing that separates those who win from lose. Obviously, there's specific other things, but patience is probably the biggest, I would say.
Yeah.
And I understand that, like now having like a look behind your guys' business and what it's all about, it's like you do really need to be patient. And it's like, if you're not, it all goes to shit. Like your account's banned and stuff.
Yeah. A number of things can go wrong. Absolutely. And yeah, it's a tricky one with the patience because like maybe that's potentially like particularly sort of just with our business, it's like, well, we do need to somewhat throw these, nice figures out there on social media to attract people. And it's like anything in life, like in order to be motivated somewhat to, like, I'm not saying they're unachievable results. They're very achievable results, but they're not achievable in the first month. And it's like anyone, like it'd be the same for you. It'd be the same for a PT. Come sign up with me. We're going to make you look like this. And it's like, that's not going to happen in the first month. And people see that and they think it's going to happen like that. No. And then so it's hard because it's like you entice them, you entice people in and you say, come and do this. It does work. But I'm noticing it now. I've had it, particularly since we sent out our VSL video, our most recent giveaway video. I've had a few friends reach out to me and I actually like, I find it like hard.
I hate when people come that are friends.
Yeah.
Or family.
Yeah, I do because it's like, yes, it works. Like 100% back me in, but I'm not confident that they're going to be patient 100%. Enough to actually get the results. And I don't mind as much if a random who I don't necessarily know, because it's like, this is my own personal brand a little bit, particularly with friends and family. If they sign up and they don't do it properly and they're not patient enough, they're not going to get the results and they're going to say, well, mate, what the fuck are you selling? You're a scam. They're going to tell my friends, family, who knows? Like, that's what I imagine is going to happen. So I hate the thought of it. Whereas if a random does it, I can just be real blunt with them. Be like, did you do this? Did you do it? No, you didn't. Like,
well, it's like whenever I give advice to young kids who come in my like DMs, or even mates come in my DMs, it's like, oh, should I try get into like online business? Like, where should I start? Like, should I, learn copywriting? Should I learn email marketing? If I'm talking to a random, I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like, try your best. There's money to be made. Do your best. But if I have a friend or like my brother, I hate telling them to try it because I'm like, it's like, yes, I think you could make money, but like, I don't want to lose. Like, you got to be ready for shit to hit the fan. And I don't want to be like, I don't want to see my friends or my family have shit hit the fan if they don't have to. It's kind of like your different risk tolerance for different people.
Yeah. You also know the person. So like I can know someone and be like, you're not a really good fit for match betting. Like you probably don't have the patience. You don't have the characteristics. Like everyone can change and adapt to make it. But like, for example, Steve, I knew he would be elite at match betting. Like I told him to get him to match betting probably a year before he did.
Before I did.
Yeah, and then he made the system. Like, whereas if I picked up someone else off the street who, I don't know, was a different character, maybe they're not going to do it. So like...
It's also like, you guys have been in the business for a long time. I've been in the business for a couple of years now. It's like, if that person is only asking you now because they see you making money,
exactly,
what reasons are they in it for? Like I don't talk business a lot with like my friends, but if, they say how much money you're making, and I go, oh, like X amount. And they go, oh, fuck, like, should I get into this? I'm like, well, you only want it to be in it because of the money, and like, be prepared to fucking, maybe in 3 years. Like, if you were genuinely interested in match betting or what I'm doing, you would be having spoken to you when you were first talking about it years ago. So,
yeah, it's hard. And that also triggers my brain to say that like, there's been a lot of, probably like maybe 10 people that have tried to like copy the system and like invent their own promo service or sub service, whatever. And you kind of like almost want to tell them like, you actually earn more money being an affiliate for us. Yeah. Like I know that sounds like really ruthless and we're like the big dog. Yeah. But like good luck trying to get 530 subscribers paying.
Oh mate, yeah.
Like it's actually very hard to get people's money and stay on because you need to maintain. Like we're in a space where it's very hard to one, make money, but two, the patience. You lose most people. When we first started, I reckon we wouldn't have had more than one person stay for more than there was a few, but like not many people would stay for more than a month.
You only have to look at our turnover. We're losing we had 200 people in the channel and we're losing 20 a week. Yeah. And now it's like we've got 500 in the channel and we're losing 10 a week. So we've 2.5 times the amount of people that can leave, but we've halved the amount of people leaving.
But that's not because our products got better and our results have got better. It's because of the back end foundation, the customer service, like the education, the videos. So like if you want to make a subscription model, especially in the betting world, make sure you actually understand that you're not going to get any subs for probably like a good 3 to 6 months. And then most likely you won't get to a point where you can actually justify the effort for the amount of money you're making. So just be an affiliate instead. Yeah. Like literally.
And it's a good spot to be in. Like it's just like anyone, who comes to me, it's like, it took me, when I was first starting, like it took me 3 months to land my first client, 9 to 5 Fitness, and they were free. Like I worked for them for free for a long time. And it's like, that's what it takes.
That's what you got to do.
So you like, what were you doing for 3 months then?
I was doing the email marketing.
No, as in before the 3 months.
I was still working like my casual marketing job.
Yeah, okay.
So I was learning, and I was getting paid to learn in my job, and I was learning for free, but making them a bit of money on the side. And then obviously I did well for them. So they ended up paying me. And
and that would delete probably 80% of people. If there's a mention of working for free, they're just out. And it's just like, sometimes, like we offered free tips for 3 months before we started. You have to, like, you have to gain trust when you've got no rep. Like you just have to, if you're starting something new. Otherwise, you like, who are you? Like you just came in
about long-term vision.
Yeah.
Like, and everything has to be long-term vision, or you're never going to make it.
No.
Like nothing. Like, if you're in it for 6 months, like go fucking scam someone. Honestly, like think of someone random to sell and sell some shit, and then take your money for 6 months and piss off. Like,
and when you do that, there are people out there that do that. Yeah, but also like there's a lot of models that just like high turnover, and like they take your money once, and then there's no sub model. Like it's just a one bang gone. And then once you're gone, like onto the next one. Like there's a fixed matches one. I don't know if you know how that works, but like they DM you, hey, I got a fixed match. Send a result to like 50 people. They're 3 different results. 2 out of 3 results will lose, 1 will win, and then they just hone in on the people who won. And they ask them for money on the next one, repeat the process, and then just rinse through like the cycle.
Genius scammers, love it.
There's so many of them as well.
Oh yeah.
If you follow our Insta, you'll cop them. You get the fixed matches following you.
I'm trying to cut them back. You're getting them.
You get like 5 a day.
I didn't know what it was. I just like deleted it. I get dumb messages, like scam messages all the time.
That's what it is. So.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No, that's really interesting.
Any questions for us?
No, well, I mean, it's been good being here this week. Like, it's crazy how, like, I think a lot of people underestimate how big your operation is. Like, they see you guys on TikTok or something, and they go, "Oh, these bunch of fucking blokes making
on their fucking grandma's couch, fucking."
Well, that doesn't happen anymore because we've got an office couch.
But now it's now they're in a big fucking office. What do you want?
Where'd you get? Did Daddy give you the money for that?
What the fuck do you want? You can never fucking please these people.
It's,
I had one question for you guys. Actually, I was thinking this morning. It was like, why? Like, what do you think was a catalyst for each of you, like wanting to try do something alternative to like a standard career?
You probably first. You were the one that started it all.
I didn't have any, like when I was 16, I was selling like soft drink cans at high school.
I watched that video the other day.
I've always been, I don't know, like a entrepreneurial mindset. I don't know if that's even a thing, but I always knew I wouldn't ever do that typical 9 to 5 office thing.
Yeah.
Went and studied osteo, was good at it, did it part-time, but like, again, wasn't my passion. The catalyst for like making Hustler, not that I plan to make this, like obviously now this has been made by Steve, Tom, whoever else, but like there wasn't a set thing. It was just like, I guess I've always thought I'd always be successful at something, and it's like an ego thing. I don't know.
It's a good ego thing,
like,
though.
Not ego, but it's like I value myself, and I think I deserve to be really successful because that's always what I thought I would be.
Yeah, I made a video about that. It's a confidence thing. It's like, it's not to mistake confidence with cockiness. It's like you've done enough good things in your life and you've achieved enough things that you've tried to do where you trust yourself to achieve it, whatever you're going to set your mind to next.
Yeah, it's like, that. And also, I just feel like I'm always being destined to be, I don't know, not that I'm like better than people, but like I wanted to always be at the top of something.
I get it. Yeah.
And with osteo, I'm like, I'm never going to be the best osteo. I'm not passionate enough. So I fucked it off.
Yeah.
And then I think I can be the best betting educator in the world potentially with this team. And I think that's actually achievable. And that's where, I don't know. Yeah.
It's passion.
It is passion.
It's passion. Like, finding. So I think the key word there is passion. It's like, if you're not passionate about it, you're not putting in 120% every day. You're not waking up early, you're not staying up late, you're not doing the extra 1%ers. And like, I reckon we're all probably similar people in that sense, where it's like, if I hate doing something unless I'm doing it full like pedal to the floor sort of thing. And it's like, these opportunities and these sort of careers, I suppose, give you that opportunity to always be going balls to the wall and seeing like how you can become the best person of yourself, but then also create the best possible product, service, business, whatever it is that you're trying to do.
I think a lot of people like mistake passion though, where they think like at the start they need to make a business out of like the hobbies that they're really passionate about. It's like, I was never fucking passionate as a kid about writing emails, but I'm like super passionate about my business because I want to build something and I want people around me to succeed, and like I want to be able to, you know, look after my family or whatever. And it's like, that's what you got to find your passion for and use whatever vehicle is in front of you to get there.
Yes, the journey. It's whether it's the grind, like even just being passionate about the grind potentially. People just love I'm very much similar. I reckon we all like have elements of it. It's like you just love waking up and being like, oh, I've got to get this shit done today. I've got to get this shit done today. And it's like,
well, I was like questioning myself a few months ago. I'm like, is it bad that like I wake up and like fully just want to get to work and do shit?
But I don't,
Like I fully just like feel bad sometimes that I would rather go to work.
But it's not work.
Do other tasks. Well, it's not.
Yeah.
Like it's your,
I don't know.
it's your business. It's your pride. Whatever it is. Like it's you've built it.
I think it's when you can see what's coming. It's like for me, it's like I know, like I'm growing quickly. I'm on the right path to continue growing quickly.
Yeah.
And it's like that's only going to grow when I'm working. So it'll be like Saturday night or something. I'm in bed and I'm like, fucking come on, like let's get tomorrow started. Like I just want to keep going. So when you're in a good momentum, it's hard.
That's my biggest weakness.
To stop.
Not being able to stop. I think half the time, like it's hard to stop sometimes.
I got in terms of like, you mentioned sort of Saturday night. Like, do you hit the beers? Do you like go out much? Like, what's your sort of
Like I used to like heavily. Like when I was 18, 19, like I'd be at the pub every weekend, like partying, whatever. And I still like to party every now and then, but like in terms of, you know, if I could have it my way, I would love to like be able to party, work on my business and like achieve my goals. But it's like, it's just counterproductive at this stage of my life. Like, and I just find I'm a worse version of myself when I'm always partying. Like I love like maybe once a month, once every 2 months, I'll go and have a great night with my mates or something. But if I'm doing that every weekend, I'm legit a shocking version of myself. I do dumb as shit on a Saturday night. Sundays are right off. Sunday nights are right off. Monday you feel like shit. Before you know it, it's Wednesday. And like you've been half as productive as you would have been. So it's like it's honestly just a priorities thing for me right now. It's like it doesn't fit where I need to go.
How does that I 100% agree.
Downside. It's like you're gonna have a big downside from doing that.
Yeah,
you've been like that. I mean, you've been
that's
like
just
that
me.
your whole life.
That's just you. Don't go out. I'm an introvert. Like
I'm a bit.
I get on podcasts and stuff, but like get me in a club with music and I'm out of there. Like I'll run away. Like I hate it. So my greatest fear is like dancing in front of people, fucking talking when you can't hear yourself. I just like I want to go home and sit on the couch.
No, I agree. I mean, I've probably had that realization a little bit later, but it definitely coming to that point now. But how do you find particularly your mates respond to that? Because they're like, fucking Angus. Like
depends what his mates are. Like,
well, of course.
You'll drift away from the mates that are like not as motivated as you and you'll sort of move towards people. But
I have a big group of mates and I love my mates. Like I do everything for them. I think the truth is I do see them less and it can be tough. It can be a bit more awkward, like especially if maybe they see each other like twice a month. I might only see a lot of them like once every 2 months or something. Like I have like a very close group of mates who are like super understanding, they're super supportive, but it's like, I mean, the reality is like see them less and it sucks. And some of them who are a bit more on like the fringe of my close mates, like, and give me a bit of shit, but I don't give a fuck.
Give a shit for like not turning up.
Yeah, like
just make snarky comments or something.
Maybe I'll turn up for the first time in 3 months, and someone will be like, "Oh, like g'day, stranger," and I'm just like, "Yeah, whatever, mate."
It's like it's a gag, but there's a bit to it.
Like they're polishing their like 90th beer for like the week, and it's like, mate, like. What?
Do they ever say anything about like you, like any? How do I say like the snarky? Not jealous comments, but like anyone down that path, Or
I don't talk shop with a lot of people for that reason, like because it's pretty typical, pretty typical group of Aussie mates. Like, I would be a wanker if I went in parading about like.
Nah, but you don't need to. They would see it. They can see if you like.
But no, I'm pretty low key, and they're all very supportive. Like deep down, like I've like individually. Good. You know, like if I go and a group of my mates give me a bit of shit, it's like whatever. I'll probably do the same thing. But it's like individually, like I'm very lucky to have like a pretty supportive like network.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, no, that's good. It is what like it. I mean, that's life, isn't it? Just sort of working out those priorities, and I don't know. I ask about it because it's something that I struggle with, I think, is like trying to do everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, it just gets to the point where you just fucking can't.
Yeah, it's very hard to manage. I actually, that overwhelms me sometimes. Like, I want to go and help, like, a family member do this, and then I got to work on the business, got to go to the gym, play footy, like work on the girlfriend, like fucking this balance is fucked.
Fiance now, mate. You got to start saying that one.
I think most people are like.
Hopefully she doesn't edit this and have to listen to that.
She's all right.
No, she's off there. She's.
I think it's like, I don't know. I made it very clear, like not through words, but like through actions. It's like, you know, I want to be around you guys like when I can, but if I've got shit to do, I've got shit to do. And most of them understand. I think I wouldn't want to concern myself with people who don't understand. I sort of like sat down one day and I told myself that. I was like, if I'm going to like force myself to go out on the piss just so I can like impress people and like maintain friendships, like how much do I really care about that friendship? Like if they're not going to support me for wanting to like achieve my goals, like, well, then they don't really care about me anyway. So it's like, no, it's, it ended up working out fine. So
yeah, nice.
But I can see where a lot of people get like held back or stuck in a trap, especially if you're not as like headstrong or you are really reliant on your mates. It's like, it wouldn't take a lot to, you know, sacrifice a lot of where you're going to do dumb shit.
Yeah. And as you said, it's very easy to get caught into it. And it's like, then you chase your tail for the week. If you go out on the beers or something, then you're...
No, it's fast.
Yeah.
I just see a lot of my mates who like, I think a lot of young blokes in Australia do get stuck in the trap of like, go to uni, get a job, get like a missus or something, and just sink piss every weekend. And it's like, they're just itching for Friday. Yeah. And like, I really started like dreading that. And that was like a big catalyst to me. It was like, I saw myself going into the office job and I was like, I can see myself like, just wanted to charge on a Friday, charge on a Saturday, like get a feed Sunday and like wake up Monday. And I was like, I would fucking honestly rather like put a bullet in me than like go into that right now.
That's what I've only sort of just started. Well, this is how I sort of justify it to myself. I don't want to speak on anyone's behalf or anything, but it's like I've sort of realized the addictive side of alcohol and drugs and those sort of things. And it's not necessarily cracking open a beer and fucking having a cold one or whatever other people like to do on their Friday and Saturday nights, but it's just the lifestyle. It's the actual lifestyle becomes addictive in the sense of Friday, Saturday is so much fun. You're pumped with dopamines. You're pumped with whatever, all the scientific brain stuff happens. Monday come around, you hate yourself. Tuesday, you start to feel a bit better. Wednesday, Thursday, you feel like yourself again. You feel like you should reward yourself because you've just battled so hard to get back to feeling like a human after writing yourself off. So that Friday comes around, it's like, I'm fucking good to go again. And then that's what I realized is the addictive element of it. Not necessarily drinking beers or doing coke, whatever the fuck people do. It's actually feeling good about yourself and just like stupidly rewarding yourself when you don't deserve a reward somewhat. Like
I think JP said it well before, like having the sort of ADHD. I think a lot of people who go into business, you kind of have an addictive personality and you need to, I have a fucking addictive personality and it's dangerous because if I want to go out and have fun, I'll be like, fuck, this is a good time. Like I could probably do this again tomorrow or next weekend. And I really need to pull myself out of that. Like, but I think it's a good trait to have when you need to work on things, but it's a bad trait to have when you're like, find yourself fucking doing dumb things that make you feel good.
Yeah. Going back to what you were saying before, like you get to a Friday and you're ready to charge. It's like one thing, like I think that sort of lifestyle, it's like you're living or you're working to live. Yeah. So it's like you work Monday to Friday to live for the weekend. It's like, not my preference, I suppose. Yeah.
No.
It used to be, no? Or not really?
Nah, I wouldn't say
Never
so.
did that.
No, I always like I did do that. Like I did that, but I knew that wasn't it. Yeah. Like I was like, nah, this is not, I don't want to be hating life.
Do you reckon people are like self-aware enough to work that out?
No.
They just mindlessly do it?
No, because I think a lot of people tell themselves like, I'm on track to achieve my goals, but they aren't aligned with what their goals are. It's like, say you were in a corporate job, you're like 23, you got a promotion. Like you're probably getting paid like decent. Maybe you're on like 90K. Or maybe you've just been promoted to like 6 figures and you're like, see, like I'm making good waves. My bank account's like slowly rising. Like maybe I'll buy a house in 2 years. And it's like, they see themselves as like working towards their goals, but they're like far from what they truly like could achieve. And I think a lot of people are limited by like their environment. Like 2 years ago, I told myself like, oh, if I was making 100K a year, like fuck, like I'm living, like I'm on track to, you know, do that before 25. Like I'm sorted. But it's like, once you sort of, it's like almost like, I wouldn't say it's a spiritual thing, but it's like a self-exploration thing. It's like when you work out like what's really out there and like what you can actually achieve, like when you're fully the best version of yourself, like switched on, you really start to like look back on that and be like, I was holding myself back from my goals being too small, which allows you room to do dumb shit and be comfortable because you're easily achieving the goals you've set yourself.
Yeah. You're doing it at 70%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the contrary to that, you have to be careful. And I think we're all in the same boat here. Like, there's never going to be an end goal.
No.
But like with these businesses, because the upside is so uncapped, like it can be a point where like, where's the end? And you can be like, it's a dangerous game because you're like, I don't know, you start earning like better money. Not that like money is probably not a goal for me. Like there's no sort of, I've never wanted to have like a goal. I need to make this much money per year to be happy. Like it's
I
always
definitely
been,
do.
Yeah.
But it's not a figure. It's to live comfortable.
Correct.
Yeah.
But that's not what I mean. Like, you obviously don't have it either. Like you don't say I need to make $100,000 to be.
It's just
happy.
if I want to buy something or if I want to go somewhere, I want to be able to do it.
And that's something that I think we're all at the point yet.
Yeah.
But we're still so hungry and like where does it end? And a lot of people chase forever.
Yeah.
And I still don't know the end. So
I told myself, I said this to my girlfriend like the other day, I'm going to need therapy when like I'm really old and rich. Cause like I don't see myself being able to fucking retire. And I don't see my goalposts ever ending. Every milestone I've hit, almost the second I've hit it, it's all right, move the goalpost.
Yeah.
What's the next
100%.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, like people always say like, oh, if you had that much money, well, like, wouldn't you rather just go like off into like Costa Rica and sail off into the sunset? No, because I'd want to do something. Like, cool, you go on holiday. I've been on heaps of holidays and traveled, but mate, 3 weeks into my holiday, I want to get back to fucking work.
I don't know if you guys saw it, I put a poll on my Instagram story. Like, would you rather earn like 200 to 300K a year and work like 2 days a week, or would you rather earn like over $5 million a year and work every day? And it was like overwhelmingly like people wanted to earn 200 to 300K a year, work 2 days a week. And I think that would be a mint lifestyle and most people would probably love it. But I know if I was working 2 days a week, I would be pacing around my house on day 3 going, what the fuck do I do with myself?
You just think.
Yeah, like I personally would probably choose currently the first one, 300K. But in the other days, I would go and become like a fucking grandmaster at chess or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
like,
what I mean.
That's
So
you
like,
need it's a hard
constant
one.
pursuit.
Yeah, I have to do
something.
something. Yeah. It's like, I think it potentially is bad for me. I think you're probably the same.
Oh, 100%. It's not good.
I'll move into different things. Like I started fucking going bowling with my mate, had to hit 200. Then like, once I hit that, I just move on to like tennis. Then like go to chess. Like it's just.
Well, I have one mate who's really good, who's like probably like my closest like advisor in a sense, but he's a good mate. But like I always tell him like my goals and very like transparent with like how much I'm making and what I want to be doing and all that. And he's really good at stopping me and going like, shut the fuck up. Like there'd be so many people like who would be so happy if they were in your shoes. Like, so you need to stop putting pressure on yourself to be like better and better. And I think it's a double-edged sword. Like you need to put pressure on yourself to move forward, but you also need to like stop and smell the roses and realize why you started in the first place.
Yeah.
Well and truly.
We get a bit frustrated sometimes with like certain parts of our business and like sometimes we might get frustrated. I don't know, something's moving slowly or whatever, unexpected. Say it's going to take a month, it takes 6.
Yeah.
Get frustrated. It's like, right, look what we've built. Like it's actually very good business.
Yeah.
And like we have to be proud of that. And that's where sometimes you have to like reflect and 100%.
100%.
But it's like, as you said, it's a double-edged sword because it's the reason you're in that position is because you're wanting things to happen.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then the reason you got there is because you got this mindset of I want this to happen now and I'm going to fucking work my ass off to get there. But then you got to catch yourself and be like, well, hang on, just chill out a bit. But it's like that balance is, it's tricky as to find.
I especially think if you've set like stupidly ambitious goals. Like I'm someone who's like set myself just the dumbest. Well, I almost tell myself like they're not dumb because they're my goals at the end of the day. But like to the average person, like I would never tell them like my goals because it's like they just look at you like, "Fuck, are you serious?" So I think you got to be careful like chasing the never ending game a bit.
The dragon.
Yeah.
You're like that.
What
Well, maybe not necessarily. Yeah, I'd say it's goals, but you just come up with stupid
I don't
goals.
say the dumbest shit, but then it'll happen.
Yeah.
And they laugh and they're like,
No, it doesn't always happen, but it does happen. Like, I'll give you a lot of credit. It does happen a lot.
Yeah.
You'll be like, oh, we're going to fucking make a movie.
Yeah.
We'll make a Netflix doc eventually.
Yeah. That'd be fucking
But now
mad.
everyone's seen it, so you have to make it.
Yeah, now it's on the record,
You're watching this, there's a Netflix doc coming in the system Australia.
Imagine that.
Once we
Imagine the hate that would
rinse
fucking
rinse
cop.
Australia, we'll say how we destroyed the Australian bookies, but no, that's never going to happen. It'll be
Yeah.
a bit different. But I'd love to get into like 100% like movie stuff, directing movies.
I'd love to direct a movie. It'd
be sick.
Yeah.
Fun as.
Or like doco style.
Nah.
Both.
Would you do a like dramatic twist?
I'd be doing
system?
dramas. Yeah, I would drama
Are you
action.
full movie?
Drama action,
Actually, I said
yeah.
this to Laura the other
Maybe get a
week. I'm
thriller
like,
in
don't call me an idiot, but like, I'd love to be a movie director.
So would I.
I was
I'd be
laying in
fucking
bed and
sick.
she's just like laughing at it.
Yeah.
Just like,
Who would
but-
you get to play in if you're doing a system
You get to play.
system Australia like drama thriller? There's been like a murder at System HQ.
I'd get the professor from Money Heist.
Oh.
The first character. No, as in like I'd recruit him.
Yeah.
I'm not saying me.
Yeah. Oh, I thought to play you. Okay.
Nah.
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe like Will Ferrell for me or something. I was like him.
Yeah. I've never been able to answer that question. I don't know.
It's a weird one.
It's a
Yeah.
shit question.
What else do you do like
Yeah.
hobby wise? Chess?
Oh, I play a bit. I dabble in a bit
really?
of chess. Like chess is a good just like day-to-day distraction. Like if I need to like, if work's getting hectic and I just need to like 10-minute break, I like just boot up a game of chess. But I train jiu-jitsu, bit of like kickboxing stuff. Like that's more like fitness hobbies. But you know, like surfing.
Surfing, I was
Living
gonna say,
at,
must
living
be
at
surfer.
like I used to live at the coast a bit, but yeah, just doing random shit to be honest. But yeah, jiu-jitsu, surfing, like it's a pretty big community of like crossover there, especially on the coast too. So it's
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's it. But otherwise, like so much work at the moment, it's like doesn't leave tons of time for
Yeah.
hobbies a lot. But
What sort of like, if you don't mind asking, like what sort of hours would you do a week? I mean, it's actually, it's a stupid question to ask because I hate when someone asks me that question
Yeah.
because I don't
know how
fucking
to
know
answer
how to answer
nah,
it.
well,
But yeah.
I mean, most days I'm probably working like upwards of 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
Most days. Like while I'm in Melbourne, right, and I'm traveling like the week before I come to Melbourne, it's hectic because I'm trying to like preload work and stuff. But
Even weekends, Saturdays,
Yeah,
Sundays.
yeah, I usually try not to work Sundays. Maybe like an hour on Sunday
Yeah,
max, and Saturdays maybe like a 4 or 5 hour day. But like Monday to Fridays, like you know, I'm either on the laptop at 6 or by 7 if I like go to the gym or something, and then have a break for an hour or two at midday, and then I'm back in it till like 7 or 8 p.m. depending.
So you
on what
wake
I'm
up
doing at
early
night.
every day?
Yeah. I make a conscious effort to. I'm a bit of a morning person anyway, but like I struggle with like I'm a big like I need my 7 hours or I'm like pretty fucked.
Yeah,
So,
I need 9. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So
yeah.
no, I try to wake up like 6 at the latest most days. Try to.
Yeah. I think I've found like these Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I wake up early because fiance goes to work.
Yeah.
But other days I wake up at like 9, 8:30, whatever.
Yeah.
And like I feel like the days are less efficient. I don't know what it is. Like obviously we've heard everyone say this. Wake up early, get shit done. Even just going to the gym straight away. I don't know, the day feels longer and you can do more.
Been a game changer for
I don't
me
know
with
what it is.
productivity. It's like especially if coming into a Monday, if it was a weekend where I had a big weekend or something, or like I had a big Saturday night, I wrote my weekend off. On Monday, I need to wake up at 5:30, as fucking shit as it is on that Monday.
go do
Get
it.
to the gym. I'm home by 7, have a shower, and you're like, right, like fresh week.
Yeah.
It's kind of the best way to start my days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you make your bed?
I'm a big make my bed.
Yeah, I've changed that.
No.
Started doing that. Do it.
It makes it so much better at night. It's like
It does. It
I
does.
feel like
Yeah.
I'd
you're
rather
getting,
clean the kitchen.
I'm the
Same
clean the
thing.
Fuck
kitchen too.
off. I've never seen you
I don't
clean
eat here.
the kitchen.
I don't eat here.
don't eat here. The other day I walked in, there was a smoothie that had been sitting on the bench for like 4 days.
Yeah, that
and
was
then there
'cause
was an
Saturday.
Uber Eats delivery bag on the table with rubbish in it. And it had the letters JP written on it.
Well, mate, if we order Uber Eats, it's from my account. So it's me and Tom. It's not just me.
No,
Yeah.
Mate, we need-
get on the delivery. Mate, Uber Eats in Melbourne is a fucking stitch up. I've had 2 fucking things stolen in the 4 days
Stolen?
I've been here. Yeah, like this fucking dog goes and picks up my food and just starts riding the other direction. And
Yeah,
we
so-
have this battle where it's like, who's going to fucking cancel the order first?
What?
Yeah, if you know.
Wait,
never
the
seen that?
driver stole your food?
Yeah,
Why would you do that?
because they want to feed. Like,
But surely they just lose their job. Or lose their Uber Eats thing.
no, I think it's like, I don't know, unless he like got into an unfortunate accident or something. But the bloke's like picked up my food and just started riding the other way. And I'm messaging him like, what the fuck's going on? Like, you were 10 minutes away, now you're 30.
Yeah.
And you're 20
So you
minutes
didn't get
south. No, and then I was sitting there for 2 hours, and then because they wait for you to cancel because then they get away with it.
Yeah,
So a lot of people
happens,
they can't. If I cancel, they get away with it, and they'll be like, "Oh, look, he cancelled." So I just fucking sit there starving for like 3 hours.
Right. I think what happens is like they have like multiple apps sometimes
Yeah.
when they take ages. Like they on the other one.
That happened to us recently,
What's
didn't
it called? The other ones.
Like Deliveroo
yeah,
or
like they have
Chinese
to do like
one,
two things before they deliver yours, and then you're like waiting 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, we sound like the biggest fucking first world problem, right?
Yeah.
People are starving.
Oh,
We're
but it's
complaining
still-
about not getting their food on time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's your world though.
The end
Like
of the world.
it's like it's our like we can only complain about our world. Like
Yeah. It is a first world. It is a first world.
People are
problem.
getting hammered in overseas, getting bombed and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that is a bit insensitive, but it's
That's alright.
just sort of topic, something I experienced.
No, of course.
Yeah,
it's all
it is what it is.
perspective, like,
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What were we talking about? It was don't know.
Yeah.
I'm about to piss myself.
Yeah.
I need to go to the toilet.
How long's it been? How long have we been rolling?
Not sure.
Bit over an hour, I think.
Fuck, solid.
Fuck, I'm very close to that camera as well.
How are you looking? Because you moved to the right.
Yeah, it looks like I've got a nice
you're
red
right.
tinge going on.
You're in the middle.
Yeah, I'm not
that's
really,
like
but
you're-
The SPF.
yeah, I know.
Did
Yeah,
I
nothing.
told you it was going to burn you. They were light.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, nice. Well, do we want to? What do you call it a day? Or
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Unless you got other things you want to talk about.
No, I reckon that's pretty.
Where
No,
can they
that's
find you?
When they find me, Instagram, Angus Cowan, and TikTok.
Does
Angus
your
Cowan.
business has a name?
Yeah, my
Yeah.
business is called Monetize Me.
Yeah.
But I don't run. That page will G up a bit shortly, but all my stuff's run through my own personal pages at the moment.
okay.
So, but yeah, monetizeme.com.au or Angus Cowan on Instagram.
Nice.
Perfect
Yeah.
for email marketing. For
Direct to consumer email marketing. You know,
Direct
if
to-
you sell something to people, hit me up. I'll grow your email list and I'll help make you some more money.
beautiful.
Nice.
Thanks for coming on, mate.
Yeah, thanks
Cheers.
for having me.
Awesome
It's great.
stuff.
First potty done.
Thanks for listening and watching. Hopefully you learned something from that podcast. If you want to learn a little bit more about what we do, in the description there's a bunch of links, including our free course. If you want to get in contact with us, the best way is on Instagram @TheSystemOz. See you next time.